Good morning. It's time for cards and coffee. And the cats haven't been too crazy, but I do have craziness already this morning, so I'll tell you about that in a bit. Let me get everything, oh, there goes Crazy Cat. Let me get everything set up in the background here. Okay, I can follow along with your comments now. Just hang out here for a minute and see if anybody's going to join me. What's in your cup this morning? We are just finishing up the last of the Demogorgon from from the Stranger Things. Yeah. That was a fun coffee pack. And it's good coffee too. I wish there was more of it. We might be able to squeeze one more pot out of it.
Maybe. Probably.
Hey, I see people popping in. Say hi to me when you get here so that I know that you're here. We'll get started here in just a minute. Today we're going to work with the Snowflake Wishes stamp set, and what's the name of these dies? I think it's just Snowflake Wishes dies. Snowflake dies. They're really pretty, and it fits today because it's snowing. It's snowing sideways. It is so nasty outside. And Cole gets to go walk out there in just a minute.
First slip drive home.
Was it slick on the way home? Time for snow tires.
Yep.
That was that was my personal goal, was to get snow tires on before it snowed this year, and I failed. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around so that you can take a look at what we're doing today. So, blank out for just a second. Well, let me find the settings first. I'm a big old spaz today, and I will tell you why, because this is the first time I have sat down since about 6 o'clock this morning, which is not how my Sundays usually go. All right, so here's what we're working with. The Snowflake Wishes stamps, and these are a photopolymer set. And there are so many snowflakes because, you know, snowflakes are all supposed to be different, and these are. And then there's some really beautiful sentiments. We have used this set previously, but we used it differently than we're going to use it today. So we have the Snowflake Wishes for Merry Christmas, May Your Season Sparkle, all these beautiful snowflakes. Look at all my crazy children down there. Our friendship is one of a kind. There's even a Happy Hanukkah on this one. Thank you so much. I think that's so cute. And in the coldest moments of the year, my heart is warm because you're near. So it's got some really beautiful sentiments with it. And this is out of the Snowflake Splendor suite that is in our August to December mini catalog, aka the holiday catalog. So these are the stamps we'll be using. This comes with some really beautiful dies too. So if you have a cut and emboss machine, and today I might even swivel mine over here so that you guys can watch, because we'll be doing a little bit of cutting. And then look at this one. These are two little separate ones that they just put on the inside, but look at that. And I think that would make a beautiful window on the front of our card, or one of our cards. And then here is the DSP. And whoop. Yes, I have used it. Actually, we've used it together in here on a previous week, and we did the purples and blues, and today we're going to go, since it's really like icy and frigid looking out there. We're gonna go with the pool party and the misty moonlight, and then some vanilla just to warm it up a touch. Not too much. It's still pretty frosty. So you can see, let me get the pieces out of here. We'll revisit these in a bit. That's my favorite paper right there. Hey Heather, welcome. Good morning. How are you? And so here are some more. There's that beautiful pool party color. And that's what I really keyed into this morning when I was picking things out. And then of course they're all double-sided. Whoop. All right. So, sorry for the noise. The scooting chairs, there's no kitties on them, so I am going to use them for myself this morning. And I think for this first card, I want to start off with Pool Party as our card base. Katie, good morning. Isn't that paper beautiful? I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so you guys aren't getting crazy cats this morning, but you are getting a crazy story. So yesterday, and we're cutting this, we're just cutting our card base, 5.5. Yesterday, I got a UPS delivery notice on my order from Traveling Vineyard, and I was like, yay, I'll have mine when I get home. Well, there wasn't a box on the porch, and it's like, well, that fits because it had to be signed by someone over 21. Cole was sleeping, so I figured when he got up, I would find out where our wine was. And I forgot about it until I was standing in the kitchen, and I was giving Hazard his medicine at midnight before I went to bed. And it's like, oh, I forgot to find out where he put the wine. So I texted him at work, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, oh crap, what? So let me pause this for just a minute. Let's go ahead and pick out a couple pieces of our DSP because I want to cut some little squares out of this. Now I want wine in Pool Party. Okay, so somebody just remember that we're up to midnight and me realizing that the wine is nowhere to be found. I'm trying to find something else that like speaks to me. Oh, maybe that one? Ooh, okay. What do you guys think of this? Like those three together on this card base? We'll see how much of a lag we have this morning. Let's find out how long it takes you to reply. Somebody tell me you like it or you don't like it, and I need to keep looking. And in the meantime, I'll drink coffee. Okay, Katie says she loves them. I'm going with that, because I do too. All right, we're gonna cut 2-inch squares out of each of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them this way first so that I don't trim all the way down my paper. All right, so we're at midnight. I've realized I don't know where my wine is at. I go online and look at the UPS site. And UPS said it was delivered and it was signed for, and it gives initials of who signed for it. Like, well, I have a neighbor 2 houses over with those initials, so okay. So I messaged her, and knowing she's not going to be up that time of night because Nobody should be up that time of night, including me. And so this morning, bright and early, she gets back to me and she's like, "Oh, honey, no, I don't have that." And so I'm like, "Great." Trying to figure out what the heck. And neither of us are liking that her initials are on this package delivery either, by the way. So we're trying to figure out, and she's getting a hold of neighbors on the other side of her, and I'm getting a hold of my neighbor across the street who's currently on vacation, and she's like, "No, I don't know anything about it either." Well, all of this takes like an hour and a half back and forth, and I'm even messaging the UPS guy that usually runs our route, but didn't this time. He's on vacation. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do is to grab some vanilla, and we're going to make, this is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. All right, I think I'm done cutting for this card right now, because we're going to be working on this. So what we're going to do with these is just kind of put them across there. Now we need to stamp some snowflakes. So we're not finding the box, and while all of this is happening, I'm realizing there were 2 other packages that were supposed to be delivered, and they also say that they were delivered. So now the mystery deepens. So the neighbor comes back and she's like, "You know, I remember when the UPS guy was here, and he spent a really long time down at your end of the street, and we're a dead end." So, and she's not liking her initials are on there either. And it's like, all right, well, let me get a hold of my other neighbor who is actually not home right now. And I have a key to her house. And she's like, "Oh, sure, honey, go inside and just, double check." And because she's got somebody else that's like picking stuff up and putting it inside for her. Well, all 3 of those packages were in there. Now remember, the very first box we were talking about was wine, and it requires a direct signature by somebody over the age of 21. There wasn't anybody in that empty house across the street from me over the age of 21. So the temp driver had put the other neighbor's initials on the package and left it on my other neighbor's porch. And then the third neighbor who was picking up all of her packages put it in her house. So I finally have all of my packages, including one that I didn't even know was missing. There were 4 packages of mine over there. So I think on Monday, tomorrow, me and the local UPS are going to have a little bit of a chat, because that's just crazy. All right, so let's work with our markers. I grabbed some markers. So if you guys ever had any weird stuff like that happen to you, that's way more excitement than I wanted for a Sunday morning. So I'm just going to pick some random colors here, try to stay with the ones that we're working with, and color in our snowflakes. Katie, I know that you have weird delivery issues once in a while. We usually don't here. Yeah, and we were, when the first neighbor and I were talking, we were both trying really hard not to go to, is our interim driver a little sketchy? you know, because wine's involved, and you know, you can tell by the packaging on the box, because it says, you know, alcohol inside, must be signed for by somebody over 21. And we're like, she's like, oh yeah, it's a young kid, and he actually had somebody riding around with them. And we're like, oh, great. Okay, so I'm breathing on that to reconstitute the ink. And let's put that one right there so it can peek out from under our DSP. So pretty. All right, we can't have two of the same snowflakes, so maybe that's the only one I want on there though for this one. But we need a cute sentiment. So what shall we say on this one? Thank you so much. We haven't used that one yet. Let's do that one. And I'm going to do this with markers too, because we don't really have anything that is the dark blue. Although we could stamp that off. And sorry guys, I didn't change my grid paper this morning. I got here just in time to do this. So. I'm reading comments here. Oh yeah. Yeah, the animal experimenting place that you were talking about. I remember that now. Okay, so let's see which generation of the stamp we want to use. Okay, definitely not that one. Probably this one. I think this one. Second one. You guys think the second one too? Yeah. Okay, so now we're just going to take and flip these over, and then I'm going to look at those and say, oh, that would be pretty too. But we're going to stay with the ones that we picked originally. So I'm just going to, this one will go down first. We'll put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on there. And artistically arrange our squares. All right, now this one I'm gonna hold off on for just a second because let's bring some ribbon into this as well. Have this pretty. And this is metallic, just as metallic ribbon. I was gonna tell you what color it was exactly, but I don't remember. It is the blue that is part of the Snowflake suite though. All right, so we've got about 20 inches of this, but I'm going to, yeah, 20 inches should be good. We'll be cutting off a little bit of it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And we want to tie our bow kind of right up there, I think. Maybe I can tie a bow this morning. Maybe not. But there we go. All right, we'll figure out how long to cut those. Just a second. All right, and then we're going to put that just over so that it kind of holds the ribbon down. And it feels like we might need a little bit of tear and tape behind there because I didn't quite get enough of the Stampin' Seal. That's the awesome thing about tear and tape, is that you can tuck it up into things like this. It's a little too long. My table has so many little bits of tear and tape stuck to it right now. I'm gonna have to use my little Pampered Chef nylon scraper to get it off of there. My poor table is so abused. It's a crafting table, it's a soaping table, and twice a year we actually have dinner on it. And that would be Thanksgiving and Christmas. All right, there, that looks better. All right, so let's trim this. I don't want it hanging over the sentiment too much. So we'll give it little short, pretty, what is that part of the bow called? Anyway, we're gonna make those short. Like that. All right, and then we will just adhere this down to our card. And I don't want to stamp and seal over that bow, so I'm just going to use some glue on the back. That way we can move it around, position it a little bit too, instead of having to eyeball it so precisely. And we'll strip down the bow. That's Yoda and Rosalie. It's hard to tell if they're playing or if they're irritated with each other. It sounds the same both ways. All right, so you know that I love to put something on the inside of the card, so let's grab another snowflake or maybe a cluster of snowflakes. Yeah, let's do the cluster. I love that one. And we will just do some randomness on here. You guys, I got to go to the Stampin' Up! Conference. It was on Friday and Saturday. It was so awesome, and I saw so much cool new stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few months. There. And now I'll stamp it up one more time because no naked envelopes. All of my envelopes have to be dressed. Do you guys dress your envelopes too? Katie says, hi, Cole.
Hi, Katie.
And Heather is here too.
Hi, Heather.
This is what it looks like outside my house right now. Well, except these snowflakes actually would be over here because it's blowing sideways. Okay guys, there's card number 1. This is a great card that would be suited towards a beginning stamper. Somebody that just kind of wants to get their feet wet, doesn't want to do too much fussiness yet. And it's beautiful. So the next one that I have in mind will incorporate a few more techniques. And let's set that one to the side for a minute. And let's do this one in our vanilla as our card base. All right, and we still I can't remember what all we cut off of this one, so let's measure it real quick. Okay, that one is, we'll use this one. So I was thinking we cut 5 inches off of it, so we just need to take this one down to 5.5. And then we will score it at 4.25. And then we're going to take some of the pool party and we'll cut this down to 5. And then to 4. And this will be what we're going to stamp on. All right, for this one, since we've already got our generationals here, and I think we want to be working with these two. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. I just had to look up at my camera for a minute because I want like a really pale smattering of different snowflakes across this. So I know we're going to want to stamp our card. I'm going to go ahead and grab that out of there now, because we can use that for one of our generations. And if that doesn't make sense, it will in a minute. So today is kind of a peek into me having absolutely nothing pre-planned other than I'm going to use this set since I spent 2.5 hours this morning tracking down my UPS packages. Okay, we don't want that one quite yet. We're going to do a stamp your own DSP kind of a background here. And when you do that, you want to start with your biggest images first, because you can always fill in the small ones. But if you start with a small one, you can't fill in bigger ones. And I know I've never used a stamp before, so I'm kind of going to scrub it a little bit to get rid of that. Always has a little bit of residue on it. So we're going to go ahead and put one here on our envelope. Oh, did I show you that? Sorry. I kind of whipped it right by you there. And we'll want something on the inside of our card. So let's go ahead and stamp one of those the corner. All right, now we can start on this. So stamp it off. I think this next one is still a little too dark. So we'll go for our third generation on this. And I'm just gonna put a couple of these on there. No, maybe I'm not, because snowflakes, they all have to be different. Let's do that. You guys know I'm kind of a spouse. And nobody's talking to me. Are you all concentrating? Are you crafting along with me? I would love that. One of the things that I want to start doing is some craft along kind of things and get some kits put together so that I can give you guys advance notice that, hey, we're going to be doing this on this day. You can already have the kits ready. You can get them directly from me, and then we can all craft along and do cards and coffee on Sunday morning. And I'm going to try to put the kits together so that no matter what level or how much time you have, what your confidence level is, that you can still enjoy a version of what we're doing. So if that sounds like fun, let me know. So this is the D block and this is the B block. I am finally getting the C block ordered because I'm finding out that I really need that one too. And it's like, it's too big for this one and it's too small for that one. And I'm just going down through the snowflakes kind of in size order and putting them on our cardstock randomly. Got a few more here. Now I can switch to the smaller block. I think I like where it's going. All right, what do you guys think? Looks random, like it's falling down. And we're going to use, hold on while I look through my paper over here, because I kind of think, let's stamp on our DSP. I love this wash, so I kind of think I want to incorporate that area. I also love these little paint splotches here, or water spots. So let's do something with our sentiment bar here, and then we'll cut it to size. All right, our sentiment options would be, our friendship is one of a kind, and we have used that one before. May your season sparkle. Snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas. You guys weigh in and let me know your thoughts too. we'll enjoy some more coffee while we wait. One of the things that they had at conference was this, it wasn't on Facebook, it was on a completely separate web platform. And when one of the demonstrators was doing cards, and it was a kind of choose your own adventure kind of a card, they had a poll set up, and I was like, oh, I would so love to have that function on Facebook, because it was like everybody just clicked over to the poll screen and chose what they wanted, and then she's like, great, this is what we're doing. It would be so convenient for us. It looks like I have at least a 30-second lag, probably because of all the snow. All right, well, you guys weigh in with your choices. I'm going to go ahead and go with my gut, which is the Snowflake Wishes. And I think we want the second generation on that one. Yeah, I think the second one. All right, so I'm going to line this up so that we can get a little bit of our little water spots and this beautiful wash. Like so. Just going to cut this at about 1 inch. All right, now I think that we want to, let's bring in another piece of DSP and some more of the our pretty cardstock. We're just going to make a little frame behind that. We have some more of this wash right here. So what we're going to do is just have a little accent bar over here. So we will just kind of eyeball that and cut it to about the right size. And I'm thinking maybe about 2 inches. About 2 3/4. It gives us like lots of nice little pieces over there to play with too. So that would bring this down to about, well, let's decide where on our paper we want to. So these are some of the decisions that as you progress that you will find yourself asking, is like which part of the paper I want to use. And I really kind of like this area here, so I'm going to go ahead. That was actually my UPS man calling me back. The real UPS guy. I will have to talk to him later. All right, we're going to go like 1 7/8 because I just want a little bit of that cardstock peeking around. And this was at 2 3/4. I'll go 2 5/8 on that one. And that gives us just the exact spot that I wanted to kind of showcase here. All right, so let's stamp a little snowflake on that as well. Or maybe the little flutter of snowflakes. I'm kind of feeling that one. What are you guys thinking? Yeah, let's go with the second one on that as well. Here. So this didn't start off with snowflakes on it like some of our other DSPs, but it had this beautiful wash and those water spots. So I wanted to highlight those. All right, now this just gets a little narrow frame around it. And then okay, let's go ahead and we'll glue this down. Now this we're going to pop up with dimensionals. And I want to give this a little bit of a flag end on this side. So let's go ahead and cut that. So to cut a flag, you want to go up from the middle so that if you were to cut it off, you would have two little squares. And then you cut from the corners to the top of your first cut on both sides. And that way you can have a perfect flag every time. And then if this was just like a quarter of an inch or something, I wouldn't worry about it. We would just cut it off with the paper snips. But I want to be a little more precise on this. All right, here are our dimensionals. Now, when you use DSP for your sentiment bars, when you raise it up with dimensionals, you're going to want to give it more support than you would cardstock. So instead of doing just one in the middle, I'm actually going to do like 3 because I don't want this sagging at all. Alright, so now I'm going to line this up over here on the edge and just cover up the bottom of our little snowflake bar there. And grab our ribbon. Things are getting buried over here. No worries, I'm glad you're back. All right, so we're just going to tie a little bow. Katie, are you still with us too? Heather's back. Did you get your coffee? And my bow's all janky here. Hold on, I'm trying to straighten it out. All right, there we go. Oh, sorry, that was my stomach. See, and all the craziness this morning, I didn't even eat anything. So I'm gonna go make an omelet when I am done here. But I'm not gonna rush it because we have cute things to make. All right, so where do we want our bow? You know what? I'm gonna change things up here because I think I actually want to go through this one. See if I can fish that down through there. We're gonna wrap this one too. And then tie our bow right at the top of our sentiment bar. So it looks kind of like a little package. Nope, I don't like that either. All right, we're gonna tie it down here. Oh, I like that a lot better. Okay, what do you guys think? I love this one too, Heather. And this is really how I like to make cards, is just like with no plan, just a pile of supplies, and where's it going to take me? So it's kind of fun for me to have a day like this when my life went sideways and it all turned out beautifully. And I'm not loving that bow right there. So I'll try to wrap it the other way and see if it behaves better. You know, depending on which way you wrap your bow determines whether your bow goes sideways or straight up and down. And then I'll just fuss with that a minute and get it to do, yeah, cute. Okay, so I think this one's going to have short ears too, because we don't want it hanging over our sentiment or the side of our card too much. Ears, there, that's what I'll just call this, the ribbon ears. Wow, I can really tell the difference on my paper snips now between my ribbon snips and my paper snips, paper snips. All right. This one, I did bring somewhere here underneath everything, I think. I might have left it on the shelf over there. Hold on just 1 second, because I have some little snowflake gems. Yep, they were over here on the shelf. I picked them up and knew I wanted to use them, and then set them back down. Yeah, Heather, I actually have two pairs of, or two snips. This one are my ribbon snips, and these are the paper snips, and I'm actually going to probably move these to cutting adhesive, move these to paper, and then get a new set of ribbon snips. Because when you do the clean cut, move down, the paper snips are always, or the ribbon snips are always going to be the newest ones. So I'm just going to grab a few of the sparkly things out of here and just like, wait, these are not the adhesive dots. So we're going to use our fine point glue. Take just a little more forethought than it was going to begin with. Get my glue flowing, but not too much. All right, so let's put that little dot there, and another one here, and maybe one right there. And then we'll take our pick tool. Come on, you're supposed to stick to the glue now, not the putty. And we're just going to randomly place some shiny things where our randomly placed glue dots are. I was trying not to get too much glue and I didn't get enough. There we go. And I probably should be using the crystal effects. That way it's shiny if it does show through. But I'm not, so that would be my tip for you. Actually, I think I want a few more of those scattered around. One right there. All right, can you see a little shimmer and shine on there now? Gives it just a little bit of extra something, something. So let's grab our card base and glue this one down. But first I'm going to recap this because we do not want this glue drying inside that tiny little tube. And then just center that so we have a little frame around our card with the card base. This one I'm going to have to press a little extra because of the ribbon back there. That's okay. When it dries, it's not going anywhere. All right, so there is our card number 2. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys because it is almost 9 o'clock now. Do you want me to keep going and do like a fancier one? Because we did like a simple one, and then we did a little more complicated one, we can keep going and do one that involves die cutting. It's up to you how long you want to be here with me. So you let me know, the two of you that are currently here with me, let me know, because I don't want to tie up your day. I usually just allow like an hour. More? Katie wants more? All right, let's do more. So, for this next one, I want to use our Misty Moonlight. So we'll cut our card base from there. And you're probably already looking at that going, that's going to be really dark to write on. And you're right, it is. So we're also going to be cutting a writing panel for the inside. We're putting this at 5.5. Excuse me. And scoring at 4.25. That's okay. I actually have a bag of chocolate here left over from the treats that we packaged. So when I start die cutting, I will probably be dipping into the Ghirardelli squares. Because, you know, chocolate can be a breakfast food, right? At least in this house. Hey, look at that. We have a piece that is almost the right size just from our previous cutting things up. Yes, emergency chocolate is a thing. It's such a thing. All right, so let's glue this down. You know what? Let's stamp this first because I don't want to go over the edge. So let's grab a random snowflake here because that's what we've been doing. Snowflakes are random. We're using random snowflakes. That one. Your breakfast is coffee. That's what my breakfast is so far too. All right, let's have the snowflake up the top. And actually, I think I want more than one snowflake on there. And it can just look like there's a few of them falling down the side. And we're going to do different colors. We're going to do different generations on this one too. So we kind of have a nice, well, some depth to this one. And it still gives you plenty of room to write your sentiment or even stamp your sentiment if that's what you want to do. I have this cool little glue bucket now so that my glue stays down in the tip, but if I'm waiting for it to, for that long, I'm about to need new glue. And we use glue rather than the tape runner on this because this way we can reposition it just a little bit and kind of wiggle it into where we want it to go. All right, so we'll set this aside and let it dry for a minute. That was not crazy cats, that was crazy husband.
That was when you got knocking the teeth on the floor.
Oh, it was crazy cats. Okay, sorry. I saw you sitting there.
Then trying to pick it up.
Okay. So add some more coffee, and I was looking for. I know that we had a little piece of our pool party. Actually, I have a different idea. All right. Okay, you guys, help me out. So this is our card base, and here's our DSP, and we're going to cut like a window out of our DSP with our dies. So let's do 1, 2. All right, you guys get to vote. 1, 2, 3. Which one? And so 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go grab more coffee. I will be right back. I'm still here, actually. And maybe by the time I get back over to the table, our lag won't have caught up with us. Okay. So you're both saying 3. This one? I love that one too. Let's do it. What? Okay, so this one. The one that I have my finger on right now. This one? This one's number 1. I even have the camera go in the right direction today. Okay, yes. Okay, we have yeses. Great. Perfect. You guys are awesome. Thank you for weighing in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this to a little more manageable size. And then we're going to die cut it. And I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like the snowflakes are falling this way rather than this way. And don't ask me why, because they're snowflakes and there's no shadows or anything. I kind of think I want to work with, this area right here. This area speaks to me. I really love this little part of it. Okay, so we're going to cut that to 5 1/4. Actually, we needed to cut it to 5 1/4 this way. That's okay. We have things we can do with all those little scraps. But I want to have, well, we might end up losing some of that, but it'll be all right. Okay. Actually, I think that's gonna turn out just right. So, this, the die that I want to use on this one is the window die. This one. So we're going to cut out the center, and that leaves us our cool little thing there. So let's run it through the die machine. All right, and I said I would make it so you guys could see. So give me just 1 second here. I would be so happy. Sorry, that's my necklace. It's probably really loud. I will be so happy when we get the tiny little, the 3-inch die cutter. Because then I'll just be able to put it up here on my workspace and show everybody what's going on. So now you can see why I don't do this a whole lot for the lives, because she's a little bit large. And that's okay, because I have some really large dies, so I wanted to be able to use them. Alright, so we're just going to place this on here. We're on top of our cutting pad. And that is the same for all die machines. You're going to have cutting pads that go over the underneath and then over the top. You can see mine are well loved. They are all frosted from being used. How did we end up off of? I'm just going to move this back over here out of the way so that we can continue on with what we're doing. I'll be right back with everything except the machine. All right, so here's how it came out. And pull up our die. Now, if anything gets stuck in there, where's my pick tool? Remember that one end of your pick tool is a blade, the other one is a little punch. If you have anything that's stuck in there, you can just go through and pop it out. And in the case of this one, it's just cleaning out all of the little holes. Sometimes you'll need to use those little access holes to actually get your project out of the die. But this one came out really nice. And there's our window. And then we have this other piece that we could still use. I don't know for what yet. Sometimes that doesn't come to me until later. But this is the one that we were after. Look how beautiful that is. And we're actually going to cut another piece to go behind this so that I think we should cut that out of the vanilla maybe. And then we'll pop this up and stamp our sentiment on the inside. All right, so let me move all this stuff. And we'll get our die back in here before I lose it to kitty toes, because they love these little jangly bits of metal. Rosalie is over there sitting underneath the die machine because she heard little jangly bits of metal. She knows that sound, and she knows that they fall on the floor. I love my big cutting machine too, Katie, but I can't wait for the little tiny one. I think it's going to be so awesome. All right, so this one we're going to cut at 5 3/8 because I just want that tiny little bit of frame shown. And then at 4 1/8. Now we've got just tiny bit of frame around there. And it'll be like so. But you know what? I think it still looks a little bit bare. I think I want to do like some more die cut snowflakes. What do you guys think? So we've got some really cool snowflake dies in here. And some of them match up with our stamps too, which is really awesome. Like this one, that one goes together. And this one goes together. And there's some of the little ones as well, that one. And then these are freestanding snowflakes. There's no stamps that match those, but those are so intricate on their own, they don't really need it. So I'm kind of thinking some of these fancy ones. So like one of those. Sorry, I got all those snowflakes pulled off of here. Now I have to put them back. Because I'm a little OCD like that. I'm actually kind of thinking maybe let's cut these out of both some DSP and cardstock, and we're gonna layer them, and it's gonna look so cool. All right. I'm gonna bring in a little bit of the purples on this too. And I'm not going to pull the machine back around. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to whip over here and cut these out real fast, because it takes me as long to get them all set, or to bring the machine around and show you. I never did grab that chocolate either, did I? And the reason for that is because I realized that when I was cleaning off the table so we could do this morning, I kind of buried the bag around. So. Just 1 second. Alright, there's one of our snowflakes. Now run it back through so that we have the same ones out of our. And see, this is what I'm talking about with the picker tool, just to get in there and take that out, because our snowflake is actually inside the die. So we've got these holes here, and that'll allow you to kind of get a hold of that. Still need another one. The snowflake has a mind of its own. There we go. Alright, cardstock snowflakes coming up. Okay. And we still have one more in the DSP as well. Get one out of there. And yes, I talk to my crafting supplies because sometimes it actually helps. The snow started sticking about a half hour ago. This morning it was just flurries and, annoying, but, well, now it's still annoying, but it's sticking to the ground. So it's going to be a white Thanksgiving. I have a feeling. And I wanted to have my snow tires on before it started snowing, and that didn't happen. I may have to send this one back through. It doesn't feel like it's as cut out as I want it to be. And that happens sometimes. You'll get a high spot or a low spot in your cutting plate, and it's a little warped. Let's see how this one's going to do before I send it back through. There is an attachment to the pick tool that you can use. It's like a little brush. I've found that sometimes with DSP and cutting tiny little things out with dies, that it's just easier to finesse it than it is to get all of that out, because you still have to really finesse it. There's a snowflake. And this one feels like it's gonna pop out. This one's really spiry and cool. I don't think I've cut this one before. Yeah, I was hoping for no snow yet too until you'd been able to come back and forth a couple more times. And it seemed like we were finally getting a late fall, but then today it decided to go straight into winter. But it's all going to be melted by this weekend, and then it's going to be nice for Thanksgiving so that you don't have to drive in it. Actually, I don't think that we need to cut or poke out these. I'm going to go ahead and... No, we're not going to poke them out because what we're going to do with that anyway is this. And that way it just gives it a little more texture in the background. So we're just going to give that a dot of glue, set it aside so it can dry. Aren't these snowflakes pretty? The dyes are so awesome. Alright, I just moved that a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much because Alright, I'll set that one aside for now. And do the same thing with these. Definitely want this side of the DSP because it just looks so ethereal. The pretty side of snowflakes, not like what's going on outside my window. Alright, so I do want this one. I'm going to go ahead and cut another one of those. Be right over here. See, with the little one, I just throw it up there on the table, and we'd be talking, and I'd be cutting, and everything would be done by now. And that would be awesome. It will be awesome. I keep putting it out there in the universe. I really, really want that machine. All right, woohoo! A no drama snowflake. I like that. Pretty. Put this up there where I know the kitties do not have them. Okay, while those are drying, we need to figure out what we're going to do for sentiment on this card. And do we want anything to be tied onto that? I'm thinking no. I think we want to add maybe a bow later. I love the stitching. And we're going to pop this up. And then maybe pop the snowflakes up too. They're going to have some dimension on their own just because of the way that they're shaped. So then, let's take a look at our sentiments. And Dear Season's sparkle would fit inside of that frame beautifully. As would our friendship is one of a kind. Okay, so sparkle or friendship? Well, you guys decide. I'm going to finish popping out all these little pieces that I just now saw. You want to see my glue bucket? Okay, yeah, just a second. It's really cool. Sparkle or friendship? Sparkle, we have a vote for sparkle. Katie, do you want to sparkle? I think we should sparkle too. Sparkle, sparkle. All right, glue bucket. Here's the sideways view, and it is just, I don't mean just, it is a cute little metal pail, and it is about 2 inches. It's 2¼ inches tall, minus the handle. And it's just the right size for putting your multi-purpose glue in. And so, Katie, if you are running around at Michael's or AC Moore or Hobby Lobby, I don't know what you've got in your area, but if you find some of these, would you let me know? I want you to pick me up some of these. I want you to have a glue bucket too, which is why I want you to pick me up some of these. So then I can decorate them and give them away as gifts and prizes. Okay, so let's figure out which generation of our ink we want to use on this, because we've got some pretty dark on our snowflakes that it's stuck down. Okay, so here's how it measures up with the generations. I'm kind of thinking the first generation on that. Let's just really pop it out there. All right, so you guys, you see that I have this lined up in the frame that I want. So I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to stamp down through the middle of this so that we get it lined up just exactly where we want it. But I love that. Every time I use this stamp, though, there is something that we must do. And so that requires me to run back up to the shelf. We'll be right back. Because that particular sentiment absolutely requires Wink of Stella. I am going to pull this off of here for just a minute. Wink of Stella is shimmer. Shimmer paint with a brush tip. And make sure it's flowing, but it's not going to glop on us. And if it glops, I want it to do it up here, or we can deal with that. Okay, so I'm just going to go over your and sparkle, and just like where the thick areas of the words are, just to give it a little extra sparkle. Maybe out at the ends of the flourishes, just extend them a tiny bit. And you probably can't see that, but when the light hits it just right, then you can. Sorry, I had to close out a message on my phone there. I hope that wasn't looking weird. I didn't see anything on the screen that I'm watching, so. All right, I'm not going to put any glue here. I'm just going to run it around the outside edge because we may want to pop those up a little bit. You knew it was going to be Wink Estella, yeah, because there's not a whole lot that I do without it, to be honest. It is like my number one favorite accent embellishment thing is Wink Estella. And you know, I don't really get into glitter at all, but I love the little pearlescent microfine shimmery. I guess maybe that's a better word than glitter. It's super shimmery. I love that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow because we'll get around to deciding where we want our bows. I'm kind of loving this card too. I don't know, maybe we don't even want a bow. Maybe we want something like this just behind our snowflakes. What do you think of that? All right, so I'm going to give this a little extra tail here and maybe just cut it down there so that we can trim that in a bit. Because we will need to strategically place all of this. A lot more fussy than what we've done so far, but that's okay. Skip that over. This ribbon does like to stick to stuff. So I'm just trying out new stuff because this is what I do when I work, and you guys are getting to see the method behind my madness or the madness of my method. I don't know which. Maybe we do like a faux bow in the background. you see something you like, shout it out. And then I'll have to back up and figure out what it was you liked. I want to be careful because I don't want to make it look too much like a cause ribbon, but I want to give it a little bit of ribbon shimmer back there. I'm kind of thinking that's nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and tack that down right there. I should have grabbed our crystal shimmer glue while I was over there grabbing the Wink of Stella, and I didn't do that. And they're sitting side by side because shimmery stuff has to be on the same shelf. And then right there is also where we're going to put the snowflake. So I'm going to put that like that. And then this is a really good, I use my stamping blocks as weights all the time. I love them for that. And while that's doing its thing, I think that snowflake just found its home. Yay. All right, so you guys can see that, we've done 3 different types of cards. Not types, but commitment crafting levels. And no matter which level you're at, you can do absolutely beautiful cards. And the 3 that we've made correspond to what Stampin' Up! Calls beginner, casual, and avid. But if you are in a hurry, even if you are avid, and both of you that are with me right now are on your way to that really fast, having a simple card that you can whip out or do multiples of is priceless, because when you sit down for your crafting sessions, not everyone you're going to have the desire, the motivation, the focus to work at a fussier, more avid level. You may have 10 minutes and just need to knock out a couple of cards because you forgot somebody's birthday. My husband's birthday is tomorrow. I haven't made his card yet. I hope you can hear that. But he's taking a nap right now because you guys know he works nights. And when he gets home on Sundays, this is the start of his days off. So while he's sleeping, I'm going to finish up his birthday stuff. Alright, that's not quite dry yet, but I want to get the end of this ribbon. Like so. And it just stuck to my thumb. No. See, I didn't plan that out. We should have started with this card. And then it's like, okay, and let me show you 2 other cards that you can do while we're waiting for the glue to dry. I want some different shiny things on here. Going back over to the shelf for just a second. All right, the first thing that I grabbed are the adhesive back snowflakes, which I absolutely adore. They're like the sticky version of the ones in the bin that I just stuck my finger in. And we have pearls, not champagne. There's the package of the snowflakes that's open. More pearls, more champagne. I'm seeing a theme here about what I use a lot of. And then we also have gold and silver. So silver would be pretty if we were just working with that, but I really like the iridescence. So we'll take this one off the table. All right, so we've got shimmery snowflakes. I'll even take them out of the package so you can see them better. Because this package of snowflake embellishments actually has two colors of snowflakes in it. So there's one that has like a little more purples and pinks, and one that has like a little more of the greens and blues. And then the pearls are just a matte shimmer. I said I was going to grab the crystal effects, and I totally didn't. So which one do you guys like the best? The snowflakes or the pearls? And we could go back into this one and add some of the snowflakes too. Oh, the shimmery snowflakes were sold out. Oh. Well, then you should probably drive up here in the snow because I have 2 packages of them. And you can craft with them all weekend. Have to wait till next weekend now, though, because you have to work tomorrow. I would love if all of us could get together and do something. I think that would be so much fun. All right, so I know we want to put a little bit of sparkle in the middle of our snowflakes. And I'm kind of feeling like more than just 2 or 3 on this card. I mean, we're telling somebody neither season sparkle. I think we need to sparkle it up. Okay. Now, I think that is probably dry enough. We can attach it to our card. So I'm going to turn it over, but I'm going to use my block kind of there because I don't want to squish everything. And we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. Hi, Franklin. What are you doing today? Playing games? I'm going to give those edges some good support, and then we don't want anything sagging in the middle. I am so glad that you guys wanted to do more. I'm always a little hesitant to go over an hour because when people see more than an hour, actually when people see more than about 20 minutes, sometimes they're like, that's a commitment. And they'll scroll on by, but we're having fun, so thank you. All right, so I'm just going to give this a tiny little a frame around there. Oh, this is so cute, you guys. And get our envelopes. Did we do an envelope for the third one? I don't remember if we did or not. And I know we're doing white envelopes, but we've been using ivory, and that's okay because look, it works. See how the white paper ties into the card. I really thought we'd stamped another envelope, but I am really not seeing it either. So let's do that. Right, because we did all those, but we did not do an envelope. Okay, I remember now. Cuddling with mommy is a good thing to do on a day like this. Well, of course, you're not having a day like this, but you guys would be cuddled up on the couch if you were here, too. All right, let's start with the big one and kind of mimic what we did on the inside of this card. And then we'll be done. And I have had so much fun hanging out with you guys. All right, I'm not going to pick the exact same snowflakes because it would, I can't figure out which ones they are. I'll just be honest. All right, stamp one off. And these snowflakes are so intricate and way more so than they look when you're just looking at the stamps. It's amazing. I'm kind of thinking maybe even use the sparkle because lots of little snowflakes. We could do that. There, and that leaves room to address the envelope. One, two, three. You guys, I had so much fun with you today. And give me just a second here and I'll flip the camera back around. But I wanted you to be able to view our handiwork because you had a hand in creating these lovelies. All right, let me figure out where am I. All right, I'm going to cover you up for just a second. Okay. So thank you. Yay, we did pretty things today together. The next time Katie is up here, maybe we can get together and do this in real life. That would be so much fun. So, all right, you guys, go have a beautiful Sunday, regardless of what your weather is. I love you all. See ya.